Good day. I am Mrs. Zendle Ann O, Barrameda, your presenter for today in our SciTalk webinar. Our topic is about biodiversity. Our most essential learning competencies is to explain the advantage of high biodiversity in maintaining the stability of an ecosystem, suggest ways to minimize human impact on the environment. Our objectives at the end of the webinar, you must be able to differentiate low from high biodiversity, identify causes of biodiversity loss, explain how humans benefit from an ecosystem with high biodiversity, describe the biodiversity in the Philippines, and suggest ways on how to minimize effect of human activities on the environment. We know already that Earth is inhabited by a variety of living organisms called biodiversity. Scientists classify and name them based on their physical and chemical similarities and differences. Every species, group of organisms capable of producing fertile offspring contributes to the richness of biodiversity. Each species plays a vital role in the balance of nature. Which is more diverse? Let us examine these two sets. In set A, we have all circles with different colors, while in set B, there are different shapes with different colors. If your answer is B, then your answer is correct. Set B is more diverse because it has various kinds of shapes. Now let us try to relate this in biodiversity. Let's explore more. Let us observe the two pictures. The first picture shows a banana plantation, while the second picture shows a rainforest. What are organisms or species that you can find in a banana plantation? What are organisms or species that you can find in a rainforest? Which between banana plantation and rainforest will likely survive or easily recover when a strong typhoon comes or a heavy flooding occurs? Which has low biodiversity? Which has high biodiversity? Banana plantation has low biodiversity. Low biodiversity is an ecosystem with few number of species. This makes an ecosystem weak. Rainforest has a high biodiversity. High biodiversity is an ecosystem with large number of species. This provides so many benefits not only to humans but to the entire ecosystem. Now let us know the causes of biodiversity loss. The threats to biodiversity has an acronym HIPPO. H stands for habitat destruction, I for invasion of introduced species, P for population increase, P for pollution, and O for overharvesting of resources. Habitat destruction. Agricultural land is used which is responsible for 80% of the global deforestation. Invasion of introduced species. Invasive species compete with the native species for space, food, and other resources. Sometimes, invasive species also spread disease that native species have no immunity of. Pollution make the environment unsuitable directly and indirectly. We also experience pollution in air, water, and land. Overexploitation of species. Example, we have the overfishing, which may decimate global fish populations by 2050. What benefits do we get from biodiversity? Biodiversity feeds the world. In the olden days, humans had over 10,000 species for food. Today, about 30 crops provide our body's energy requirements 40 species of mammals and birds domesticated for food. 14 species account for 90% of livestock production. Biodiversity provides air and water. Forests generate oxygen that we breathe. Forests and mountains provide aquifers, which are sources of water we drink. Biodiversity provides materials for clothing and shelter, such as fiber, timber, bamboo, kogon, anahaw, and rattan. Biodiversity heals. About 80% of the world's biodiversity resources with medicinal values are in forests. The world loses around 13 million hectares of forest cover every year. Cone snail, living in corals, is source of medicine for cancer pain. Around 88% of Asia's corals are at risk. Biodiversity brings income to millions. Livelihoods such as selling fish, fruits and vegetables, furniture making and wood carving, pearl farming, livestock raising and selling, forestry, agricultural and fisheries, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals and ecotourism. Biodiversity brings income to millions. Around 80% of Asia's rural poor's income is derived from biodiversity. Biodiversity suits nature tripping, mountain climbing, bird watching, enjoying the beach or verdant forest, comfort in nature by simply looking at the green grass, hearing the joyful chirping of birds, watching a puppy at play, inspiration to artists for their masterpieces. Philippines' nature's superpower. These are the facts and figures. How rich is our biodiversity? Let us discover. Mount Makiling contains more tree species than the whole continental United States, which land area is 32 times bigger than the Philippines. The Philippines is second in the world in terms of butterfly species endemicity. Of its 895 species, 352 are endemic. Fifth in the world in mammalian endemicity. Of its 183 species, 120 or 66% are endemic. Eighth in the world in reptilian species endemicity. Of its 258 species, 170 or 66% are endemic. There are 171 species of amphibians in the Philippines. 78% of these are endemics. Philippine eagle, the world's largest eagle. There are 54 species of mangroves in the world, and 40 species of these are found in the Philippines. 500 of the 800 plus known coral species in the world is found in our country. Philippine biodiversity. The Philippines is one of the 18 megadiverse countries. It has more than 52,177 described species, half of which are endemic, found nowhere else in the world. But we are in great danger. Hottest of the hotspots. The Philippines is one of the 35 hotspots in the world. On a per unit area basis, the Philippines is the top megadiversity country and the hottest of the hotspots. Depletion of the Philippine biodiversity. Mangrove forest, 149,000 hectares remain from the original 450,000 hectares in 1918. Wetlands. More than half of the country's wetlands of international importance, covering 14,000 square kilometers, are threatened. Forests. In 1935, there were 17 million hectares of forest. Today, there are only 6 million hectares. Climate change. Climate change is likely to become the dominant direct driver of biodiversity loss by the end of the century. The Asian region is especially vulnerable to climate change, since a huge proportion of its population lives along coastlines. Deforestation. 3 million hectares of peatland burned over the past decade in Southeast Asia. $9 billion in economic loss caused by forest fires in Indonesia, including health damage from smoke. According to NASA, forest fires released as many greenhouse gases as all the cars and power plants in Europe in an entire year. Net annual forest area loss in Southeast Asia at 2.4 million hectares in the 1990s, 0.4 million hectares in 2000 to 2006, and 1.0 million hectares in 2005 to 2010 respectively. Humans are both problem and solution to biodiversity loss. As a problem, irresponsible human practices contribute to biodiversity loss. As a solution, humans have the knowledge, expertise, and financial resources to conserve biodiversity. What can youths and schools do to conserve biodiversity? What can youths and schools do to conserve biodiversity? Integrate biodiversity lessons in appropriate subjects. Conduct school activities that will promote biodiversity conservation. Students to take the lead in their homes and communities. Conserve water and electricity. Recycle, reuse clothes, paper, cans, glass, and plastic bottles. Adopt simple lifestyles. Consume less, produce less garbage. Dispose waste properly and eat together. Educate yourselves on which species of seafood are under threat and avoid buying them. Buy products with less packaging. Avoid use of plastic bags or reuse them. That's why the PSYSC Club has a project, Totes for Thought, a band paper for a cause. This aims to sell customized tote bags so that we can purchase reams of bond papers for our printed learners next school year. In such way, we are helping our students, our schools, and most especially our Mother Earth by using these customized tote bags, which are eco-friendly. Grow our own fruits and vegetables. Eat less meat as meat production requires more inputs and energy. When buying, choose appliances with high energy efficiency ratings or use fluorescent lamps. Use social networking tools such as Facebook, etc. to promote biodiversity conservation. Walk, bike, carpool. Write about biodiversity conservation in school paper. Report environmental crimes to DENR or city government. Conduct or join environmental contests. Volunteer on Bantay Kalikasan. Write to government officials. And plant trees. Why plant trees? A single mature tree can release enough oxygen back into the atmosphere to support 2 human beings. A single mature tree can absorb 4.5 kilograms or 10 pounds of air pollutants, including 1.8 kilograms or 4 pounds of ozone and 1.4 kilograms or 3 pounds of particulates. Trees store carbon and help slow human-caused climate change. Tree canopies and leaf litter protect the soil surface from the erosive power or rain. Trees purify our air and water. Trees provide food, timber, and medicine. Forests provide outdoor recreation, education, and ecotourism. Over a 50-year lifetime, a tree generates $31,250 worth of oxygen, provides $62,000 worth of air pollution control, recycles $37,500 worth of water, and controls $31,250 worth of soil erosion. Biodiversity is life. Biodiversity is our life. Biodiversity suits, cures us, clothes us. We get our food and water from biodiversity. Biodiversity gives us shelter, and it provides us livelihood. So let us do something by protecting and conserving our biodiversity. Every day is an Earth Day. Let us celebrate how blessed we are to have this planet. I hope you learned and are more inspired to do simple acts of taking care of our Mother Earth. This is Mom Zendle Ann O Barrameda, your presenter for today. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love and God bless.